If you're looking to make a change to get improved performance, improve your sleep, and help you with your weight loss journey, try Optimum Day and Night. Make a change as soon as you can.
And that's exactly why I'm so excited to tell you that Optimum Day and Night has had a major upgrade. And these have been a real game changer in my health journey. Optimum Day helps your metabolism burn throughout the day, and Optimum Night helps you get a really good sleep throughout the night.
And here's some real life proof on screen right now. Both Robbie and Michael Owen teamed up with Oxford Natural for their wellness journey, and you can see the results for yourself.
And remember, the supplements don't replace a healthy lifestyle, they support it. So if you're looking to make a change, click that link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen and get 70% off your first order today. Talk about Savinho and Marmoush, because Fabrizio Romano said very early this morning that Tottenham are trying to accelerate a double deal involving Marmoush and Savinho. The plan for Spurs remains 2 wingers, Gakpo and Savinho, plus a striker. Plus a striker deal on. Pedro Neto is the backup option if Savio doesn't join. Santi Auna says to anticipate the likely departure of Savinho to Tottenham, it's understood that Man City have moved for a Brazilian forward called Alan Elias from Palmeiras. So that's an interesting development. It looks as though they're getting their ducks in order. Himothy says that he understands that Marmoush had spoken to Roberto De Zerbi and is eager to join to be used as the 9. Fee likely to reach 150 million including bonuses. They want a double deal agreed as they feel it's a better bargaining chip when it comes to negotiation with City. The deal is very advanced. Spurs Journo says a deal for Savinho to Tottenham is fully agreed. Spurs and City are settling their differences in valuation over Omar Marmoush. There is a sizable gap between the clubs still, but both parties are optimistic of a solution. And reports in Brazil from Cahe Mote GE Globo says Man City and Tottenham have agreed a deal for Savinho worth 93.3 million euros up front, plus a 5.7 million euros in bonuses. The expectation is the player will soon be cleared for a medical, and adding a deal of Omar Marmoush, the total expected fee is going to be 151 million euros, not pounds.
Which obviously is still a significant fee. What was it, 130 million probably pounds?
Around about that, yeah.
Obviously, that deal that they're talking about for Savinho, they've gone into quite specific detail there. So I think coming from Brazilian sources, a lot of the time they can be ahead of the game when it comes to Brazilian players. That is obviously around £80 million plus about 5 million in add-ons, so about £85 million for Savinho, which obviously we've been talking about, which is a crazy kind of fee for him. But maybe it's more palatable if you're getting Marmoush in another deal for maybe a bit cheaper than that. Obviously, they're getting wages off the books, so maybe they're willing to compromise a bit on Marmoush's transfer fee if we can get both of them over the line and they take both of them off their hands.
I think when you're looking at a combined deal of 130 million euros, you know, we were speaking pounds, sorry. When I was speaking last night, that's what I said to you. I think the kind of value is of the player between that 120 to 130 million euros, pounds. Obviously, when we heard 150 million pounds, I thought, yeah, it's a bit of an overpayment. 20 million probably over the two, but I think 130 million pounds is a decent deal, to be honest, for two quality players, in my opinion. Obviously, Marmoush comes in more ready-made and can spearhead that attack in the number 9. Savinho comes in not as a guaranteed starter, but a player that's going to see a lot of minutes, but a player that definitely adds to the quality of the squad. And this is assuming we bring in Gakpo, by the way. If we don't bring in Gakpo, then obviously Savinho is probably an out-and-out starter. But yeah, I mean, it is when you're looking at the fee just for Savinho, 93.3 million plus 5.7 million in add-ons, euros that is. I mean, that is a hefty fee for someone that's not a guaranteed starter, isn't it?
Yeah, but he's not maybe a guaranteed starter, but he obviously adds quality, he adds depth to the wide areas, and I think he is going to start a lot of games, to be honest. So I think when you have Kudus, if you do sign Gakpo, obviously we have Matisse Tel there, then you add Savinho to the mix. I think you've got a really good balance of different variety of attackers, different ways to go at oppositions. It really gives De Zerbi the tools to kind of chop and change and choose what players suit which games. So I think it's worth, just for that, it's worth the money. Plus, I think Savinho, I think, look, I know a lot of people, we've spoken a lot about it, a lot of people are not sure about the fee, they're not sure about how good he is, they're not sure about his time at City, but I'm telling you, when he puts that Spurs shirt on and when he gets on the pitch, people are going to be excited about him. People are going to see the value that he brings. Even if he's not scoring and assisting every game, he brings threat. He brings just focus. Teams can't ignore him because he's an absolute demon when it comes to his dribbling and his one-on-one. You can't just leave him alone. You have to make accommodations for him. And those players, they're not easy to come by. And I think that kind of value as well, it's undervalued by a lot of our fan base, and I think he's going to be such a valuable member to our attack. That's what I think.
You're looking at the way Tel has been performing so far. You're looking at the prospect of bringing in Savinho, Marmoush, Gakpo. You're looking at the prospect of reintegrating Mohamed Kudus. I mean, we are going to be a problem next season. We are really going to be a problem next season, and that is also adding to the fact of James Maddison coming back. Conor Gallagher pressing from the front. I know, everyone has their issues, or people have their issues with Conor Gallagher, but still, his pressing is still going to be a problem next season for oppositions. You're looking at the prospect of, after January, reintegrating Javi Simmons to this side. You know what I mean?
You didn't mention Decky.
Who knows? As well,
Who knows?
You know what I mean? He could
What's
be
going on with
integrated
him?
at some point. So you're going from a team that looked like they had pretty much no attacking prowess to all these options.
We'll put it this way, the last game of the season, Spence was playing right wing.
Yeah.
So that's where we were back at. And to be fair, even in 2 days' time, it could very well be like Mikey Moore starting. But if we do get these options over the line, when Kudus comes back fit, we are going to have depth and quality in attack, something that we've been asking for and needed for a very, very long time. Even, Solanke, could he get back to his best? Could he be the striker that hopefully we signed from Bournemouth and even the one that first joined in Ange's first season? If we can get, the player that we thought we were getting when we spent 65 million, all of a sudden we have even another source of goals there. So I think De Zerbi will be delighted with the options. Now, the question is, if we get all these options in, how does it stack up as a collective against teams that we're looking to challenge Champions League with? Because I still think, even with all those players over the line, you have to say, what's our best three? Probably Marmoush up front, Gakpo on the left,
Kudus, yeah.
and Kudus on the right. Does that stack up against Liverpool, United, Chelsea, City and Arsenal?
Well, if we go one by one, Liverpool, let's say for argument's sake, they sign Barcola, Alexander Isak, who they're going to have on the right. Mbaye, maybe.
Maybe Mbaye. At the moment, it's Rio, I think. But
I think Isak obviously is better than what we got. Barcola is better than what we got.
I guess put the number 10 in there as well. But I guess at the moment we're playing Gallagher or Maddison.
Well, we'll say Maddison. I think Florian Wirtz obviously is an unbelievable football player. Didn't have the greatest of seasons last year, but I wouldn't doubt that he has a great season this year under Andoni Iraola. So I think Liverpool are probably significantly better than us.
You take Isaac, Wirtz and Barcola.
Yeah, I think Liverpool is significantly better than us. Manchester United, Brian Mbeumo,
Cunha
and Sesko,
and then,
with Bruno Fernandes, they're better than us. You're looking at Arsenal, who do they have? Gyökeres or Havertz, Saka and Solis,
and
with Odegaard in the 10. I think that's a bit more closer than the other two. I do think that's a bit more closer. I think, would you rather Marmoush than Gyökeres or Havertz?
I think in a weird way, I think Marmoush is a better footballer, but I think in terms of what the Arteta wants from them, look, I prefer Marmoush personally, just as a footballer. I think he's got more ability. I think he's a better finisher. Well, he's definitely a better finisher than Havertz. But obviously, what Havertz and Gyökeres have over him is they're just physical threats, and they get themselves more chances.
That's fine, but you're not comparing Marmoush what he would be in an Arsenal system. You're comparing Marmoush what he would be in a Tottenham system.
Correct.
And how good will Marmoush be better for Spurs, or will Gyökeres be better than for Arsenal?
I mean, you asked me this a year ago. I think probably Gyökeres, but from what I've seen of him, I think I prefer Marmoush. I think he's a better player, but I don't think Marmoush would start for Arsenal. Put it that way.
I think obviously Saka gets in our team.
Yeah.
And I would say right here, right now, Gakpo is ahead of Solis. And I mean, for the past couple of years, we've all been saying Maddison's better than Odegaard. Odegaard obviously had a great World Cup and started the Community Shield well, but he's had a poor few seasons for Arsenal.
I know, but Maddison's come back from an ACL.
Yeah.
So that probably puts him behind Odegaard.
Anyway, Arsenal are better, but I don't think it's as significant as the other two. Man City, no point even going
Cherki,
through the players.
Semenyo,
because
Doku,
Man City are
Haaland.
much
4
better.
for 4 there.
And Chelsea, you got João Pedro up front, and they probably
Palmer,
play,
Rodgers will play.
they're
Yeah.
they're going to be playing a different system to everyone else, probably,
But still, you got Pedro, Rodgers, Palmer, all probably getting
and they're
our
better
team.
as well, in my opinion. So
So
as it stacks up against the top 6, it's not as good, and probably 6th out of the top 6. But the way you got to look at it from a Tottenham perspective is how much we've improved. You know, we've improved a significant amount. And it's not just about the quality of the player, it's about how they're utilised in the system, what's backing them up behind them in terms of the midfield, the defence, the fullbacks. And I think, you know, compared to some of those teams, we might have a better midfield, we might have a better defence, we might have better fullbacks compared to some of them.
And also, let's say, for example, Liverpool, they've got a better first attack, but maybe we have more depth, potentially. Same with maybe Man United. I guess they got Rashford come in, but other than that, Rashford, Ahmad, okay, they got pretty good depth as well. But, you know, City at the moment don't have much depth. Chelsea, who's coming in? Welbeck? Like, who's coming in for their front three?
I wouldn't say Arsenal have much depth in the forward line either.
Arsenal, like Madueke, Martinelli, you know, Eze. I mean, they've still got pretty decent depth. But, like, you know, we have pretty... We depending on who comes back, who's fully fit, our depth all of a sudden looks, you know, pretty decent at that point. So, yeah, I think the collective of attackers right now, on paper, probably is not as good as, even with spending all this money, isn't as good as the top 5. But you've also got to take into account, we've got a new manager. Could these set of attackers look a hell of a lot better under this manager than they have been? Could they find a different level to what they have? You know, could Marmoush be profiled more correctly? Could he get the best out of Savino? Are we going to see a lot more from Kudus? With Gakpo, you know, could he start seeing the best out of him? And if he does that, then I think all of a sudden we might start to see these attackers in a different light.
Yeah.
But the big question is, obviously, the gap between our attacking lineup last season to this season, and the gap is closed to the top 5, and that is the key thing here. So I know it's a lot of people will be looking at it on paper saying you spend all this money, you're still not better than your rivals in the front line, but I think rightly Tottenham are still excited about what they're bringing in.
I think from last season to this season, in terms of attacking lineup for Spurs, it's not even night and day away, because night and day is too close to each other. It's more like universes and satellites away. You know what I mean? It's crazy the difference in quality that we're going to go in with this season compared to last season. With Roberto De Zerbi at the helm, I'm confident that Spurs are going to be a force to be reckoned with this season, and especially you're looking at the regeneration of the midfield with Tonali and Mateus Fernandes. You're looking at a backline where I think Mickey van der Ven and Jan-Paul van Hecker are going to strike up such a great relationship. You've got Pedro Porro and either Destiny Udogie or Andy Robertson on the left-hand side. And Andy Robertson, whatever I've been saying about him or anyone's been saying about him, he's going to contribute to that attack.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully Porro starts getting more goal contributions like he was like before Frank. I think not only will the front line get more goals themselves, I think they're going to help facilitate more goals around the team. And I think that's just as important. Because you look at, like, even when Ange first came and we sold Harry Kane, but we scored more goals the season after, even though we let go of our best player, right? That's because we shared the goals more around the team. It wasn't just so reliant on Harry Kane.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be the same principle here. Like,
Yeah.
we're going to be sharing. We're not going to. Last season under Frank obviously was a disaster, but we're going to be sharing the goals a lot more around the front line. Plus, we're bringing in guys like Gakpo and Marmoush who have proven they can score goals in this league.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's exciting times. It really is exciting times at Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, look, the reality is you can't go from 17th 2 years in a row and just all of a sudden think you're better than everyone in the top 6. You know what I mean? It's a process and a building block. And I think from what we had to go through the last 2 years, particularly last season, this is a fantastic rebuild because we've literally rebuilt the whole team.
Yeah,
That's
literally.
what we've done this summer.
Yeah, new defence, new midfield, new attack.
Yeah.
And obviously we have to get these over the line. It's not done yet, but if we get them over the line, it's pretty much a completely new team.
Yeah.
Well, unrecognisable. I mean, I just saw a graphic of the lineup that we put out on the last day of the season against Everton, and it's just a literally new team.
Yeah, it is. And everyone says this all needs to be ripped apart and rebuilt again. And that's what Roberto De Zerbi, Rafi Mawson and Vinar Johan have done.
So I've seen quite a few people saying, is this Tottenham's version of when Arsenal got Zinchenko and Jesus? Is that a positive or a negative?
Well, obviously it helped Arsenal getting Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. That was the very start or the beginning of them starting to be properly relevant again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there are comparisons to be made, because I think this is the start of Spurs starting to be relevant again.
And also we're signing 2 players who are our favourite City and they're willing to sell, maybe squad players. But what was key for Arsenal was, yes, they were squad players for City, but they did the job that Arsenal needed them to do. And I know Arsenal didn't win the league, but obviously we all know what happened that year. They were 8 points clear with 5 games to go, and whatever, they fell apart at the end. But that got them in a position where they nearly won the league. I know they were starting from a higher position. They finished 5th the season before. But the point being is, even though these players weren't good enough for City, they were good enough to almost win Arsenal the league that season. So even though these players right now, don't necessarily get into our rivals team, doesn't mean they don't significantly improve us. Yeah. That's the key thing.
100%. So hopefully we get an even bigger bomber later on today or at some point, even during the stream, because Ali Gold is suggesting that we're trying to get these deals done in time for them to play against Brentford. And to play against Brentford, they need to be registered by midday tomorrow. So we really are working behind the clock here. The clock is working against us. I find it highly fanciful to think that any of these players will be in by the time we play Brentford. But let's see. Because not only do they have to sign, they have to get the work permits as well. It's just not going to happen.
There's a rumour of a flight, a private jet coming from Manchester to London City Airport arriving, or apparently arrived today at 1:10. So who knows who's on that flight? Who knows what's going on there? But that's on the rumour mill on social media. We love our little theories and things that people haven't noticed, and that's what people are talking about. Apparently there's a private jet, and sometimes they're carrying footballers.
Sometimes they are, but I mean, maybe Savinho, but the Marmoush thing we haven't heard from anyone reliable that these deals are done. Just advanced talks.
Correct.
So would they be on a plane right now? It seems a bit early.
Well, maybe it hasn't hit the media yet that the deal's been struck.
Maybe. In terms of Cody Gakpo, Himothy is saying that Spurs are going to be waiting for Liverpool to sign Barcola and or Mbaye to materialise, for a move to materialise for Cody Gakpo. So Spurs obviously focusing on these two. Hopefully, in the meantime, Liverpool get their targets in, and then Spurs will strike.
Yeah, that's been the news for the last however long now with Cody Gakpo. But I've seen a few suggestions that signing Marmoush, does it lessen the need for a Gakpo? Does it, because they're quite similar, they operate in similar areas, they got similar kind of qualities. Do you go a bit? Do you want Gakpo any less? The fact that Marmoush is coming?
Not at all. They both play in the same team together for me. I think, yes, Marmoush can play on the left, and yes, Cody Gakpo can play up front, but Gakpo is better on the left and Marmoush is better up front. So I want them to play in the same team.
Yeah, me too. And I think it's just more goals, isn't it? It's just more threat, more attacking quality. So I think, I completely agree. I don't think they get in each other's way, personally. I do think like Marmoush, he does like to operate in a similar way to like Vinny Jr. and Mbappe kind of operate in similar areas. I do kind of, even though they're different positions, I do kind of feel like there's something similar there with Gakpo and Marmoush, where they both like that little area from the left-hand side of the box, cutting inside. They like to do that kind of thing. But if we can maybe get Marmoush closer to goal and just make sure we're not separate, that we're separating them, then I think that could be positive.
Yeah, and David Ornstein's just dropped less than a minute ago that Man City are working on this Alan Elias guy from Palmeiras. So finally, we're hearing about Man City replacements for Savinho.
Palmeiras aiming to keep the Brazilian. he's got a 100 million euro clause.
Now they're going to drop 100 million.
Surely not. But it's crazy as well. I mean, back to the conversation about the price. Like, everyone's saying crazy overpay, what money? But, like, Man City are apparently about to drop 100 million on Boadi.
Yeah.
So what is the market? That's surely a crazy overpay. Hasn't he had one good year?
Yeah.
And he's 18.
Yeah.
And yet, apparently, he's 100 million. Konsa, 29-year-old centre-back with, 1 year left on his deal, or 2 years, whatever, he's worth 50 million. Like, it seems like teams are just prepared to pay the money to get their players in.
Yeah, I know. And then you've got Jed Spence going for 30 million euros. So
yeah,
it's hard to know where to sit in the market. It's just all a mess this summer. But I think £130 million, if that is the deal, then I think it's a fantastic deal for Tottenham, in my opinion. In terms of Pape Matar Sarr, there are some reports coming out of Africa, from Africa Foot, saying that Tottenham midfielder Pape Matar Sarr has his heart set on joining Galatasaray, and the move is understood to be at an advanced stage. So no kind of reliable people reporting this, just this publication. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is not true. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's true.
Yeah, me too. I think him going to Turkey makes a lot of sense. They've clearly got... There's money there. I think he would fit in Turkey as well. They got Champions League football. I think it would be a decent move for him. I mean, I heard a report yesterday suggesting we're asking for 50 million for him. I can't believe that to be true.
Absolute rubbish.
Surely not 50 million for Pape Matar Sarr. That's obviously an extortionate fee. But yeah, I think
we'll be demanding more for Pape Matar Sarr than we did for Romero and Spence.
Yeah, apparently. Make it make sense. But hopefully, I think he needs to leave because of squad numbers, and obviously he just doesn't really have a place for next season. So let's see how he advances. I think he will leave by the end of the window, whether it be on loan or whether we get a permanent deal. He won't be part of the squad.
Yeah, exactly. So that is your Tottenham update for today. Let me know in the comment section below your thoughts regarding all the news stories that we have spoken about today.